A written declaration of an organization's environmental values and beliefs is known as an environmental policy. It provides advice on how to work in an environmentally friendly manner, as well as a list of practices to avoid. A commitment to minimizing the environmental impact of an organization's operations. A strong environmental policy can help you manage resources, reduce expenses, and promote more environmentally friendly practices. The purpose of environmental policy is to lessen the damage that operations, people, and activities cause to the environment. By regularly reviewing environmental policies, organizations can keep an eye on environmental practices and their efficacy. Chapter 1: Improving the Natural Environment, Part 1: Environmental Governance. 1. Environmental Goals. 2. Environmental Goal Particulates. 3. Environmental Goals. Diversity of species. There are 4 environmental targets. Process. 5. Environmental Goals. Influence. Goals for the environment. Reporting requirements. Examining environmental goals. 1. The Secretary of State has the authority to promulgate regulations establishing long-term goals for any matter relating to a. the natural environment, or b. people's enjoyment of the natural environment. 2. Using the power granted by subsection 1, the Secretary of State shall designate a long-term objective for at least one matter falling within each priority area. 3. Air quality, water, and biodiversity are the top 3 issues. Waste minimization and resource efficiency. 4. A target established in accordance with this section shall include a. a standard that must be met, and b. a deadline by which the standard must be met. The standard must be measurable objectively. 5. Instructions on how to measure the item for which a target has been set may be included in regulations made in accordance with this section. 6. A target shall be deemed to be long-term if the indicated date is at least 15 years after the date on which the target was originally established. 7. The target is initially established under this section when the regulations establishing the target go into effect. 8. The terms specified standard and specified date in this part refer to, respectively, the standard and the date specified in relation to a target under this section. 4. Environmental Goals. Airborne Particles. 1. Establishing a target through regulations for the annual mean PM2.5 concentration in the atmosphere, the PM2.5 air quality target. 2. The target for PM2.5 air quality does not have to be a long-term goal. 3. Particles with an aerodynamic diameter of no more than 2.5 micrometers are referred to as PM2.5 in this section. 4. The regulations establishing the PM2.5 air quality objective may also define ambient air. 5. The requirement in subsection 1 is in addition to, and does not absolve, the requirement in section 1(2) to set a long-term air quality objective. 6. The same rules of sections 1, 4, 2, and 9, as the targets of this section shall apply to the rules of this section and the PM2.5 air quality objective. Ecological objectives. Species diversity. 1. In regulations pertaining to a matter involving species abundance, the Secretary of State must specify a target, the species abundance target. 2. The year 2030 must be the target date for species abundance. The species abundance target is not a long-term objective as a result, and the duty described in paragraph 1 is in addition to, and does not relieve, the duty described in section 1(2) to set a long-term objective for biodiversity. 4. Before establishing regulations under paragraph 1, that set or modify a target, the Secretary of State must be persuaded that doing so would prevent a decline in species abundance. The sections 1(4) through 9 cover the species abundance. Environmental goals. Species diversity. 1. The Secretary of State is required to specify a target, the species abundance target, in regulations, with regard to a matter involving species abundance. 2. The year 2030 must be the target date for species abundance. The species abundance target is not a long-term objective as a result, and the duty described in paragraph 1 is in addition to, and does not relieve, the duty described in section 1(2) to set a long-term objective for biodiversity. 4. Before establishing regulations under paragraph 1 that set or modify a target, the Secretary of State must be persuaded that doing so would prevent a decline in species abundance. Sections 1(4) through 9 cover the species abundance. Environmental objectives. Method 1. The Secretary of State shall consult with such persons as it deems impartial and knowledgeable in the subject matter before promulgating rules under sections 1 to 3. 2. Before issuing regulations under sections 1 to 3 that set or modify a target, the Secretary of State must be certain that the target, or modified target, can be accomplished. 3. Regulations under sections 1 to 3 may only be issued by the Secretary of State if they completely or substantially alter an existing target, the existing target. If it is believed that achieving the current goal would not significantly benefit the organization relative to failing to do so, or accomplishing a goal of lesser importance, then b. circumstances have changed since the current goal was established, or since the most recent environmental change. Environmental goals. Effects. The Secretary of State shall ensure that a. the objectives set forth in section 1 are met, b. the target for PM 2.5 air quality set forth in section 2 is met, and c. the target for species abundance set forth in section 3 is met. Reporting requirements for environmental goals. 1. Each target established by regulations made in accordance with sections 1, 2, or 3 must include a reporting date. 2. No later than the reporting date, the Secretary of State must publish a statement that includes all pertinent information about the goal and present it to Parliament. 3. The required information regarding a target is, as applicable, that the target has been attained, b. that the target has not been attained, or c. the reasons why the Secretary of State is unable to determine whether the target has been met, as well as the steps she intends to take in order to do so, and what she is doing in the interim. 4. If the Secretary of State asserts that the target, the report must outline the reasons why A and B objectives were not achieved, as well as the actions the Secretary of State has taken or intends to take to make sure the required standard is met as soon as practically possible. 6. Within 6 months of the date the declaration is laid before Parliament, the Secretary of State shall lay before Parliament and publish a new declaration containing the necessary information, if the Secretary of State declares that it is not yet possible to determine whether the target has been met. 7. Subsections 3 to 6 apply to additional assertions made under subsection 6, in the same manner as they do for a statement made under paragraph 2. If the significant improvement test is not passed, the Secretary of State will take the following actions with regard to the powers in sections 1 to 3. A. Whether the Secretary of State believes the test has been passed. And b. In a report that is presented to Parliament and made public after the review, if the Secretary of State thinks the test has not been met. 5. The initial evaluation must be completed by January 31, 2023. 6. The completion of subsequent reviews must occur before the end of the 5-year period that begins on the day the previous review was completed. 7. Once the Secretary of State has organized and published the report, the review is complete. A. The target relates to a feature of England's natural environment, or a region that includes England. B. It specifies an objectively measurable standard to be met. C. The standard has a deadline for achievement. D. It is stated in legislation that is governed by both English and Welsh law. 9. The Marine and Coastal Access Act 2009's definition of England is as follows. See Section 322 of the Act. Both English inshore and English offshore territory